The television landscape changed forever on September 24, 2007. That was the date The Big Bang Theory first aired on CBS. 19 years have passed since that pilot episode premiered, marking nearly 2 decades of cultural history. The world of 2007 feels distant now. It was a time before streaming services dominated our screens and before smartphones were in every pocket. And quote, nerd culture, end quote, was still a niche interest rather than the mainstream global force it is today. While technology and trends have shifted drastically over these 2 decades, the popularity of the sitcom remains steady. The series follows a group of socially awkward scientists and their aspiring actress neighbor as they navigate the complexities of friendship and romance. Millions of viewers grew up alongside these characters for 12 seasons, watching them evolve from caricatures into fully realized adults. The laughter they provided created a shared bond that persists even years after the show concluded its historic run. Time moves forward, but the legacy of this ensemble cast endures in syndication and memory. Now, we look beyond the characters to the real people behind them. In this documentary, we revisit the cast and see where they are today in 2026. Jim Parsons was born James Joseph Parsons on March 24, 1973, in Houston, Texas. He was 34 years old when The Big Bang Theory premiered in 2007, taking on the role of Sheldon Cooper. Sheldon was a theoretical physicist with a genius-level IQ but a complete lack of social skills or empathy. The character became the breakout star of the series, known for his rigid routines and quote, bazinga, and quote, catchphrase, and eventual emotional growth. Casting director Ken Miller stated that Parsons was so good in his audition that creator Chuck Lorre thought it was a fluke and asked him to return to prove he could do it again. A notable behind-the-scenes fact is that Parsons actually played the theremin, Sheldon's favorite instrument, in the show rather than miming it. Before this career-defining role, Parsons struggled to find steady work, appearing in small parts in Garden State and Judging Amy. His portrayal of Sheldon earned him 4 Primetime Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe, cementing his place in television history. After the show concluded, he pivoted to dramatic roles in Ryan Murphy's The Normal Heart and Hollywood, and he returned to the stage in The Boys in the Band. He also served as the narrator and executive producer for the prequel series Young Sheldon, which explored his character and Appo's childhood. In his personal life, Parsons married art director Todd Spiewak in 2017 after a long-term relationship. He has spoken openly about the relief of coming out publicly and living his truth. In 2026, Parsons is 53 years old and continues to produce and act in projects that challenge his sitcom typecasting. His portrayal of Sheldon Cooper remains a cultural touchstone for how television represents intelligence and neurodivergence. Johnny Galecki was born John Mark Galecki on April 30, 1975, in Brie, Belgium, to American parents. He was 32 years old when he began playing Leonard Hofstadter, an experimental physicist and Sheldon's long-suffering roommate. Leonard served as the straight man of the group, grounding the show's more eccentric characters with his relatable desire for love and normalcy. Galecki had actually worked with co-star Sarah Gilbert years earlier on the hit sitcom Roseanne, which helped him land the role. Interestingly, he was originally invited to audition for the role of Sheldon, but felt he was better suited to play Leonard. Before The Big Bang Theory, he was a well-known child actor, famous for playing Rusty in National Lampoon and Appo's Christmas Vacation. His career after the sitcom has been much quieter by choice, focusing on his family and personal interests rather than chasing blockbuster roles. He made a return to his roots by reprising his role as David Healy in The Conners, the spin-off of Roseanne. Galecki faced some personal challenges, including a breakup with Elena Meyer, with whom he shares a son named Avery. He moved away from Los Angeles to Nashville to raise his son in a more private environment. In 2026, Galecki is 51 years old and maintains a low profile, occasionally surfacing for architectural design projects or music. His portrayal of Leonard remains the emotional anchor of the series, representing the patient heart of the group. Kaley Cuoco was born Kaley Christine Cuoco on November 30, 1985, in Camarillo, California. She was just 21 years old when she took on the role of Penny, the aspiring actress and waitress who lived across the hall. Penny was street smart, socially outgoing, and provided a necessary foil to the scientific jargon of her neighbors. Cuoco was not the first choice for the female lead. An earlier pilot featured a different character named Katie, but audiences reacted poorly to her. A fun fact from production is that Cuoco and co-star Johnny Galecki secretly dated for roughly 2 years during the early seasons of the show. Before joining the cast, she had already found success as Bridget Hennessy on the sitcom 8 Simple Rules. Following the conclusion of The Big Bang Theory, she launched her own production company, Yes, Norman Productions. She found massive critical acclaim starring in and producing the thriller series The Flight Attendant, which earned her award nominations. She also voiced the title character in the animated Harley Quinn series, showcasing her versatility in voice acting. Her personal life has seen public ups and downs, including 2 divorces, before finding happiness with actor Tom Pelphrey. In 2026, at 40 years old, she is a powerful player in Hollywood and a mother to her daughter, Matilda. Her evolution from the "girl next door" to a powerhouse producer proves Penny was just the beginning of her story. Simon Helberg was born Simon Maxwell Helberg on December 9, 1980, in Los Angeles, California. He was 26 years old when he was cast as Howard Wolowitz, an aerospace engineer with a bowl cut and a desperate, often misguided approach to women. Howard eventually matured into a devoted husband and father, offering one of the show and Oppo's most satisfying character arcs. Helberg is a talented pianist in real life, a skill the writers incorporated into the show for several musical episodes. A lesser-known fact is that he almost turned down the role because he was tired of playing nerd characters after his time on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Before the show, he was a cast member on the sketch comedy series MAD-TV and had a small role in the film Old School. Since the sitcom ended, Helberg has pursued more serious and artistic film roles, working with directors like Leos Carax. He starred alongside Adam Driver in the musical film Annette and appeared in the mystery series Poker Face. He has managed to avoid being typecast by selecting eclectic and offbeat projects that showcase his dramatic range. Helberg has been married to actress Jocelyn Towns since 2007, and they have 2 children together. In 2026, he is 45 years old and continues to work steadily in both film and television. His portrayal of Howard Wolowitz remains a masterclass in physical comedy and character development. Kunal Nayyar was born on April 30, 1981, in London, England, and raised in New Delhi, India. He was 26 years old when he landed the role of Rauch Koothrappali, an astrophysicist who initially could not speak to women unless he was drunk. Rauch was the sensitive romantic of the group, often serving as the source of gentle humor regarding his lavish lifestyle funded by his parents. Nayyar had very little acting experience before the show. He had only 1 television credit on NCIS prior to his audition. A behind-the-scenes detail is that the character of Rauch was not originally written as Indian, but the producers adapted the role after hearing Nayyar's audition. Before fame, he studied business in Portland, Oregon, taking acting classes to make friends. After the series wrapped, Nayyar made a deliberate effort to shed his sitcom image by taking on dark, intense roles. He played a cold, calculating killer in the Netflix anthology Criminal UK and appeared in the thriller series Suspicion. He also wrote a book titled Yes, My Accent is Real, sharing essays about his journey from India to Hollywood. He has been married to former Miss India Neha Kapoor since 2011, and they are considered a power couple in the fashion and arts world. In 2026, Nayyar is 45 years old and has successfully established himself as a dramatic actor. His performance as Raj endures as a beloved example of sweetness and vulnerability in a comedy setting. Mayim Bialik was born Mayim Chaya Bialik on December 12, 1975, in San Diego, California. She joined the cast in the season 3 finale, eventually becoming a main character, Amy Farrah Fowler. At the time she joined, she was roughly 34 years old, bringing a new dynamic as the female counterpart and eventual wife to Sheldon Cooper. Amy was a neurobiologist, a profession Bialik shares in real life, having earned a PhD in neuroscience from UCLA. The writers often asked her to fact-check the scientific dialogue in the scripts to ensure its accuracy. Before The Big Bang Theory, She was a famous child star known for the 1990s hit sitcom Blossom. After the show, she starred in the sitcom Call Me Kat, which she also executive produced. She also served as a host for the game show Jeopardy! A role that brought both high praise and significant public scrutiny. Bialik has been open about her struggles with mental health and her divorce, using her platform to discuss parenting and neuroscience. She hosts a podcast called Mayim Bialik and Apo's Breakdown, where she interviews guests about their mental health journeys. In 2026, she is 50 years old and remains a prominent voice in both the entertainment and scientific communities. Her role as Amy Farrah Fowler is celebrated for showing that women in science can be quirky, romantic, and complex. Melissa Rauch was born Melissa Ivy Rauch on June 23, 1980, in Marlborough Township, New Jersey. She joined the show in Season 3 as Bernadette Rostenkowski, a microbiologist with a high-pitched voice and a surprisingly intimidating temper. She was roughly 29 years old when she began her recurring role, which quickly became a permanent fixture due to her chemistry with Simon Helberg. Rauch's distinctive voice for Bernadette was modeled after her mother, though her real speaking voice is much lower. A backstage fact is that she was a fan of the show before being cast and initially only had a contract for a few episodes. Before her big break, she worked as a stand-up comedian and appeared in the American adaptation of Kath and Amp Kim. After the series, she starred in the film The Bronze and successfully rebooted the classic sitcom Night Court, serving as both star and producer. The Night Court revival allowed her to step into a leading role and demonstrate her skills as a showrunner. She is married to writer Winston Beigel, and they have 2 children, a daughter and a son. Rauch has spoken about her difficult journey to motherhood, including a miscarriage that she bravely discussed publicly. In 2026, she is 46 years old and a major force in television comedy production. Her character Bernadette remains a fan favorite for proving that being small does not mean being weak. Kevin Susman was born Kevin Susman on December 4, 1970, in New York City, New York. He was 36 years old when he first appeared as Stuart Bloom, the owner of the comic book store that the main characters frequented. Stuart was known for his bad luck, financial struggles, and desperate need for companionship, often serving as the butt of the joke. Susman was originally considered for the role of Howard Wolowitz, which explains why he fits so well into the group dynamic. An interesting fact is that Susman actually worked in a comic book store before he became an actor, giving him real-world experience for the role. Before the show, he had a memorable recurring role as Walter on the dramedy Ugly Betty. After The Big Bang Theory, he continued to work in television, appearing in the critically acclaimed limited series The Dropout. He also took on a role in the period drama Lessons in Chemistry, showing his ability to handle more serious material. Susman keeps his personal life relatively private, though he announced his marriage to Addie Hall on Instagram in recent years. He has maintained close friendships with his former castmates, appearing on Will Wheaton's interview show. In 2026, Susman is 55 years old and continues to be a reliable character actor in Hollywood. Stuart Bloom remains one of the most lovable underdog characters in modern sitcom history. Sarah Gilbert was born Sarah Rebecca Abeles on January 29, 1975, in Santa Monica, California. She was 32 years old when she appeared in the first season as Leslie Winkle, a physicist who served as a rival and foil to Sheldon. Leslie was a dry, sarcastic character who briefly dated Leonard, echoing the actors in Apo's past relationship on Roseanne. Gilbert was initially a main cast member but was bumped to recurring status because the writers struggled to generate enough storylines for her character. A notable fact is that she helped create the talk show The Talk, serving as a host and executive producer for 9 years. Before The Big Bang Theory, she was already a television icon for her role as Darlene Connor. After her time on the show, she reprised her role as Darlene in The Connors, which became a stable hit for ABC. She has also focused on producing, working behind the scenes on various television projects. In her personal life, Gilbert is a mother of 3 and has been a vocal advocate for LGBTQ+ rights. She was married to musician Linda Perry, though they separated in 2019. In 2026, she is 51 years old and remains a powerful figure in television production and acting. Leslie Winkle is remembered as one of the few characters who could genuinely outsmart Sheldon Cooper. John Ross Bowie was born John Ross Bowie on May 30th, 1971, in New York City, New York. He was roughly 38 years old when he first appeared as Barry Kripke, a plasma physicist and colleague with a distinct speech impediment. Kripke was Sheldon's nemesis at the university, known for his pranks and relentless teasing. Bowie originally auditioned for the role of Leonard, but his unique energy led casting directors to bring him back as Kripke. A fun fact is that the speech impediment was Bowie's idea for the audition, and he had to maintain it for every appearance over 10 years. Before joining the recurring cast, he was a sketch comedian and a member of the pop-punk band Egghead. After the show, he starred in the sitcom Speechless alongside Minnie Driver, playing a father of a child with cerebral palsy. He also wrote a memoir titled No Job for a Man, detailing his scrappy journey through the entertainment industry. He has been married to comedian Jamie Dienbo since 2004, and they frequently collaborate on creative projects. Bowie is also an accomplished writer, having penned plays and articles for various publications. In 2026, he is 54 years old and continues to work steadily in comedy and drama. Barry Kripke remains a highlight of the series, providing some of its most memorable rivalries and insults. The journey from 2007 to 2026 has transformed this ensemble. These actors have evolved from fresh faces into industry veterans, parents, and producers. While their careers have taken different paths, they remain linked by the history they created together. We also remember the talents we lost along the way, such as Carol and Susie and Bob Newhart, whose contributions helped shape the series. The Big Bang Theory remains relevant today because it captures the universal desire for friendship and acceptance. The characters may have moved on, but their stories continue to play on screens around the world. They defined a specific era of television comedy. Thank you for watching.